Okay. Here we go. The Who Would Win of the Week this week is Spock versus Neil deGrasse Tyson. Couple of men of science, couple of science officers going at it.
Can I ask a question that I didn't ask when we picked this to be the fight?
Yes. I just gotta find out how tall Neil is.
How tall is Spock?
Spock's tall enough.
Height. You gotta look up height.
All right.
If it's not like an athlete, they don't just give you their height.
Well, they should.
Whoa,
6'2".
big boy.
Yeah, I
How
thought
tall
he was
is
pretty
Spock?
tall.
Spock height. Spocky.
Spocky.
6
feet.
foot.
Okay.
So is
that's Zachary Quinto is 6'1".
Is Spock a good fighter?
Dude. Yes. So the Vulcans.
That's a problem.
That is a problem. So Vulcans are they're typically known as like an intellectual race, purely logic. That's like the whole thing, right? But they are great fighters, especially so. Every 7 years, Vulcans have to have sex like once every 7 years, or they like go crazy or something. There's like a couple Star Trek episodes about this, and the way that they like solve this problem is they have to have like a fight to the death. So Spock, although the Vulcans are a logical civilization, they're warriors too. They can really throw down.
That's what I kind of thought that was the case.
I feel like Neil deGrasse Tyson
is
was a wrestler. Neil
He's
deGrasse
trained.
Tyson.
fighting.
Okay. Anthropologist, planetarium. I feel like he.
Google can Neil deGrasse Tyson fight?
All right, I'll try that. What?
Can? All you got to do is add the word can.
All right, well,
and then get rid of the.
I'm trying my best, Matthew, and it's not very good.
Undefeated wrestling captain in high school.
See, I thought
And he wrestled
so.
at Harvard. All right.
He wrestled at Harvard.
That's what it said.
God, can you imagine just throwing nerds around like that, left and right? This 6'2" guy comes in.
So now
he's
things
so
are
muscular. and he's
starting
just,
to look up.
Imagine Neil deGrasse Tyson just lifting Mark Zuckerberg up and like baiting that guy.
Now my next question: does Spock? Does he have any type of superhuman capabilities, though?
Well, there is the Vulcan neck pinch, but that's not really superhuman. But it's just that it's the spot. You get somebody there. And
But
collapse.
honestly, Neil probably knows the Vulcan.
Neil
neck
knows
pinch.
the Vulcan neck pinch, 100%.
So
that nullifies it.
all right.
They both have that.
So the question becomes:
It's
dude,
almost like
this
a.
fight is-
It's almost like a Bruce Lee versus like a Mike Tyson type thing. Not exactly, but like just like a small. Although they are pretty the same size, but I think it's like the fighting style. Like Neil deGrasse Tyson, wrestler. I think he's gonna be like a bit more powerful, whereas
Yes.
Spock is going to be a little lighter on his
a little
feet,
more agile,
more like martial art types moves.
Yes. I that's exactly how I imagine it. But
Where
they're
deGrasse
both going to
Tyson,
be very calculated in how they fight.
well, without a doubt,
Yeah.
Spock is
And
definitely going to underestimate Neil deGrasse Tyson. So,
You think so?
without a doubt, without a doubt.
Is
That's
he
like
he's got some arrogance to him.
the Vulcans. That's their biggest issue as a
Okay.
culture.
See, I
They're
didn't
like,
know that.
we know logic. We're the smartest. Blah blah blah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. That's a huge thing.
Okay.
It's the biggest thing he and Captain Kirk kind of.
Yeah,
that's why they butt
about.
heads. Yeah.
All right. So with that in mind, I feel like Neil deGrasse Tyson will also know everything there is about the Vulcan culture before he goes into this fight. Whether that be because he is a nerd or also because he was preparing for the fight.
He's a studier.
And I think that'll, help him understand the fighting style that Spock's going to come in with, along with the neck pinch. And to your point, it sounds like Spock will probably underestimate Neil and assume, like, oh, he's just human. I'm going to kick his ass.
Yeah.
And in Spock's head, he might try to gain an early advantage in the fight verbally by, like, saying things that might confuse the average human. Whereas Neil deGrasse Tyson's going to be like, physics, astronomy, wormholes,
Perfect.
space,
Yep, all that stuff.
dimensions.
But
And
I do
Spock's
think
gonna be like, holy shit, I didn't know they had this in him.
Spock, although Spock's able to adapt quickly, so once he realizes that, and he
Yes.
can take a punch. So I don't know. This is almost like a bigger they are, harder they fall situation in my mind. Like I think Spock, once he sees what Neil's doing, get him in the knee, punch him in the throat. Tyson's down.
Yeah.
Tyson's down.
Especially if I mean, but dude, if Neil goes low and gets him on the ground early,
That's
but the
thing.
problem is if he goes low, the problem is he leaves himself open for a Vulcan neck pinch. But he's gonna
Ooh.
know that early on. He's gonna be like, I can't go low on this.
But
guy.
it might be a calculated risk. Might have to be a calculated
Maybe he's been
risk.
training his nerves to become.
I mean, that'd be near impossible.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think I was really trying to talk my way into Neil deGrasse Tyson here.
Well, it's still a good fight.
I think it is, and I think the conversations that they're going to be having, if there's a scribe there,
Yeah.
I mean, they're gonna solve a lot of
Sure.
crazy
Like,
scientific issues while fighting. Spock's gonna be like, no, it's this, and Neil's gonna be like, no, it's this, and they're gonna be like, wait a minute, it's this, but they're still gonna be fighting each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need somebody there writing quickly.
Oh
very,
my God.
very quickly.
Just solved interdimensional travel.
Yeah,
He's got a
exactly.
bloody nose.
Yeah, but I agree with you. I think that Spock being one again, Spock is a soldier, right?
Well,
is that what
he's a science officer. That's his title in Starfleet.
I know? But he's, as part of Starfleet, he's had some training, I'm sure. And he ends up in situations where he has to,
True.
get himself out of them. So, to me, that lends more towards Spock. I don't think Neil is doing much training anymore. Not that you're looking bad, Neil. Not that you're looking bad. But I just think, and also how do Vulcans age? Like maybe Spock,
I think they age slower than humans.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So boom, even if he's much older, I think he'd still have the juice to get one of these.
Well, yeah. Neil's only shot is the ground and pound, and I'm locking in Spock too.
Yeah,
for the
I'm
win.
gonna take Spock as well.
I like this fight though.
Yeah, it's a good scrap.
Yep.
It's a good scrap. Vote on that on Friday on Instagram. Who would win of the week? Neil deGrasse Tyson versus Spock from Star Trek. On the show, we got a clean sweep. Let's see what the people say.